At this point, we've put in all our data. We've got our first couple of formulas entered, and things are nicely formatted. So all we have left to do is put in 2 more formulas, save the file, and we're done. So let's get going. The 2 formulas we have left to enter are going to first total up all of the hours scheduled, and then using that number along with the total hours available, do a little subtraction to determine how many hours are left. First, let's put in a couple of labels. I think I'll click on D3 here and type in hours scheduled, and then put in hours remaining. And I think I'll format them nicely like I did the other cells. So I'll highlight them, click B for bold, and make the column a little bit wider. There we go. Now I'll click on E3 because that's where I want to total up all of the hours I have scheduled. So how are we going to do it? Using what we've already covered regarding formulas, we could type an equal sign and click on, what is that, B7, type a plus sign, click on B8, plus, and so on for all the other numbers. But there are 2 problems with that. First of all, that's going to make for a very long formula, and it's going to take a long time to enter, especially if I have a lot more days scheduled. And secondly, I would like to make it so that I'm able to include any hours that I might potentially enter in the future, no matter how far down they go. And to do that, I'm going to use a different method than this one. So I'm going to press my Escape key to cancel my entry and start fresh. Instead of using basic adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing type arithmetic formulas, I'm going to use a formula with a special command called a function. Excel has a lot of built-in functions, and some of them are very complex, but the one we're going to use is pretty straightforward. All it does is add up a list of numbers. The nice thing about the function we're going to use is that you don't have to put in each individual number. All you have to do is tell it where the list of numbers starts and where it ends, and it's going to add up everything in between. Because functions are used in formulas, we're still going to start with an equal sign. But instead of right away clicking on cells and typing plus and minus and so on, we type the name of the function. The function that adds up a list of numbers is named sum, S-U-M. So I'll go ahead and type that much. Earlier, we said the sum function only needs to know where the list starts and where it ends. So how do we do that? Well, the way you tell a function what it needs to know is you put that information inside parentheses. And so I'll start my parentheses, and I'll tell it where the list is. You can either type it in or click and drag over the list. I'm going to start by clicking and dragging over the list, though. So I'm going to click and drag from B7 down through B13 there, and then take a look at the formula. Notice Excel put in B7 colon B13. That actually means add up everything from B7 through. That's what the colon means. It means through B13. At this point, I could finish the formula. But if you recall, we wanted to include any cells where we might potentially schedule time off. So what I'm going to do is just backspace that 13 and type in some ridiculously big number that's total overkill. And that way it will include as many rows as I might ever possibly use. So I'm going to type in 500. Of course, I'll never put in that many entries, so I know I'll never be outside the total number of cells that the sum function is looking at. That's perfect. To finish up, I'll close my parentheses and press enter. The last formula is going to be another simple arithmetic type formula, no functions this time. And all I'm going to do is subtract the hours scheduled from the total hours, which means typing an equal sign, clicking on my total hours, B4, typing a minus sign, and clicking on the hours scheduled, that's E3. I'm done, so I'll press my enter key. That's it. I think I'll test it by scheduling some more time off. So I'll put in a date like 7/25/2018, and then I'll schedule 8 hours, and look at that, it updated instantly. The last thing we're going to do is save the file, but before we do that, why don't you pause and put in your formulas. I'll give you a quick recap. In E3, we're going to type an equal sign, the word sum, start your parentheses, and then you're going to put in B7 colon, meaning through, B500 or 100 or some other big number that will definitely include any potential hours scheduled. Close your parentheses, press enter. For the hours remaining, type your equal sign, click on the total hours, type a minus sign, click on the hours scheduled, press enter.